I'd like to call the Wednesday, November 5th, 2014 Papillion City Council meeting to order. Ms. Wahinkle, would you please take the roll?
Florence.
Here.
Mungard.
Here.
Gaines.
Here.
Glover.
Here.
Jaworski.
Here.
Klug. Stubbe.
Here.
Ingberg.
Here.
I wanted to start up here because we've actually got Boy Scout Troop 88. If you guys want to come up, they're going to help us lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
That is correct.
And a current copy of the Open Meeting Act is posted in the back of the council chambers. Mr. Hoynes, Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Earlier this afternoon, I was reviewing some quarterly data from our development, economic development. Thought I don't often do it, but probably should do a better job of keeping you informed of, some of the, at least the high-level numbers. In the last quarter, the City of Papillion has issued 95 new home permits within the last 90 days, averaging over one new home permit every single day. In the same quarter, there's been 13 new business permits issued. We've also completed, just in Papillion, fire inspections, 51 fire inspections on various homes and businesses, and one of those was the Marriott Hotel, which sometimes required multiple trips in a day for various types of inspections that were going on. You're well aware because you've been involved. There's actually 12 announced public developments in progress or in process. You're addressing one of those 12 tonight. Probably 50% of my time at this point has been meeting with new businesses that are seriously considering either new home developments or new businesses within our zoning jurisdiction. So I think it's noteworthy. Not only is that those are good economic indicators, but the building department in particular that's been in transition for a few months, those folks have done yeoman's work with coming in, and as you well know, we have a very short turnaround time on inspections. They've continued to meet those even through transition and manage that new effort. So if you do see those folks, I'm sure they would appreciate recognizing that. A couple other topic issues. Earlier today, I met with Allie Pointer, Jay Palau, and Dan. Lori Hansen and her team. As you recall, last April you prioritized and asked for research on a potential community center at some point in the future. We're still in the process, and I think we're getting very close to the needs and use assessments, not only current, but what it may look like 5, 10, 15, even 20 years into the future in terms of a potential community center, what that would cost, how that space would be used, where it would be located. We're looking at several different options and then anticipate probably by the end of the year we'll have those options completed. The plan then is to involve the city council in those various options, get feedback from the elected officials, and once you folks make a decision, A, if the project is warranted, or B, send us back to the drawing board. At that point, we would begin a public input component of that particular project. Is again in our capital improvement plan, our capital facility that's been identified as the highest capital priority in the near future, and so we're working very hard on that. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Councilman Jaworski. Second. I missed that. Second by Councilman Gaines. Do you have any proponents? Do you have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
7 yeas, no nays.
Motion passes. Next is item E1, Ordinance 1702, an ordinance to amend the budget statement to be termed the annual appropriation bill, which was adopted on September 2nd, 2014 by Ordinance 1697 to appropriate sums for necessary expenses and liabilities and to provide for an effective date. This is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? I'll close the public hearing. Next is item E2, Ordinance 1705, an ordinance to approve the change of zone of certain real property within the zoning jurisdiction of the City of Papillion, Sarpy County, Nebraska, legally described as the north half of the southwest quarter together with part of the northwest quarter, all in Section 32, Township 14 North, Range 12 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located southwest of Highway 370 and 114th Street, from agricultural AG to multifamily residential R4, to amend the official zoning map of the City of Papillion by changing the zoning district boundaries of the zoning map in accordance with Section 20532 of the Papillion Municipal Code, and to provide for an effective date. This is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. Proponents.
Nancy Predall, 14710 West Dodge Road, on behalf of the developer for the project. Ashbury Creek is a 235 single-family lot development, as Mayor Black mentioned, southwest of 114th and Highway 370. These are larger lots. The smallest lot is 85 feet wide, and we anticipate home valuations to be in excess of $400,000. We have 32 acres of outlot on the west side of the property that you can see. It's 114th Street. Within that, we also have a 25-acre park, which includes a linear trail system. We also have bike lanes on Gold Coast Road, which would be a future bike lane connection, I believe, both east and west of this development. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other proponents? Do we have any opponents? I'll close the public hearing. Thank you. Next is item F1, Resolution R14-0171, a public hearing and a vote. A resolution to approve a preliminary plat for the property legally described as the north half of the southwest quarter together with part of the northwest quarter, all in Section 32, Township 14 North, Range 12 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located southwest of Highway 370 and 114th Street. The applicant is Ashbury Creek, LLC. This is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. Do we have proponents?
Nancy Predall again, here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other proponents? Do we have any opponents? I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution R14-0171? Motion. Motion by Councilman Glover. Second. Second by Councilman Florence. Any council discussion? Mr. Mumgard.
Yeah, I guess I have a question probably for the planning director. Several months back, could be over a year ago, the council indicated that they wanted a place for a splash pad out in the western development area. Is this the area that we were talking about that had the area that would fit well with a splash pad, or am I getting confused with another area?
I recall certainly having that conversation, and we have been advising all of the developers who have made applications that we need a location for a future splash pad. We haven't specified a specific location yet, and I can tell you that there isn't one proposed on this project.
Well, I remember some discussion with your staff about one of the areas out there having an area that looked good for a sizable park. Do you remember that discussion?
Yeah, and I think that was the area north of Highway 370, in the area around where the future reservoir is going to be, called WP7, if I'm thinking correctly. But that's what I recall, possibly putting one up on Lincoln Road. This has a larger park area. It's linear in nature, and it's at least with this development, it's fairly far removed in terms of access from an arterial.
Okay, well, I don't want to cut off our options, and I'm leaving it to you to decide which of the new developments in the west would have a park that's most conducive to having a splash pad. I can understand how this one, when I looked at it, I thought, well, I don't think this is the one because the linear nature of the park. I guess I just draw your attention to it that that's an issue that is going to repeatedly come up as these western developments come. Thank you.
And we have advised all of the applicants that is a need, and we are working on finding the right location.
Is that something that you're keeping in mind as your staff is reviewing these developments?
Well, we don't have a specific site specified at this time, so it's working with developers and trying to find the right site. We haven't had one, step forward and volunteer to install one yet. So we're advising them that it's a need, and they're likely going to get that question when they get before the city council. But we've also had good reasons why we haven't found a good site yet on the applications that we've received.
Well, I guess my preference would be that we go beyond advising them that there is a need, because I don't think we'll have anybody voluntarily come up and dedicate parkland for that. It would be my preference, certainly, that we identify our preferred location, and then we just make that a condition of any improvements. I take it that that's not appropriate for this location, this development.
We did look at this development and whether or not it would be an appropriate location for a splash pad, and it did not appear to be, based on the surrounding uses, the nature of that parkland and the accessibility to it. We think there are better locations in Western Papillion jurisdiction for a splash pad.
Okay, well, at some point, if we could perhaps solidify that, either through a resolution of the council or something, that would be helpful, because otherwise, as we just keep on going and going, and we overlook that, we don't want to be in that position where we're trying to put in something when there's already houses there and there are already expectations that have been raised. That certainly it's my preference that be put in at the initial stage on the plat, not necessarily constructed, but certainly dedicated for that particular reason, so we don't see some of the opposition that we've seen in the developed areas. So I'll leave that to you to see if that gets done, if you think that's appropriate. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other council discussion? Please vote.
7 yeas, no nays.
Motion passes. Thank you. No other agenda items. No committees have met in the last 2 weeks. Do we have any comments from the floor? Anybody want to make any comments? No comments from the floor. Any council comments? Quiet group. That's a good thing. We have a lot of students in the audience, and we've got some time. You got to come up and introduce yourself and tell us why you're here. Just start funneling up to the podium. I bet there's going to be a common theme of Mr. Keller.
I'm Aaron Homey, and I'm here for Mr. Keller's government class to visit city council meetings.
Is it getting to the end of the semester and the requirements got to be met?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty big crowd.
December 5th when it's due, so probably should start coming to these.
Hi, I'm Brandon Davis, and I'm here for the same reason he is.
Hi, I'm Tyler Krebs, and I'm also here for Mr. Keller's government class.
Hi, I'm Evan Wiebe, and I'm here for Mr. Keller's class too.
I'm Daniel McCoy. I'm here for the same reason.
I'm John Reyes, and I'm also for Mr. Keller's class.
I'm Melanie Nabby, and I'm here for Mr. Keller's class.
I'm Michaela Claycamp, and I'm here for the same reason.
I'm Stephanie Lamb. I'm also here for Mr. Keller's class.
I'm Nicole Wiles, and I love government.
I am Christian Bonder, and I'm here for the same reasons, except for Nicole's.
I'm Nicole Torrin, and ditto.
I'm Ethan Palladino, and I'm here for the same reason as everyone else.
I'm Xana Gagrud, and I'm going to be President of the United States. Just kidding, I'm actually here for Keller's class. I'm Taylor Bell, and I'm here for the same reason.
And I'm Logan Williams, and I'm here for Mr. Keller's government class.
Appreciate it. If you guys need anything for class assignments, some of us will probably hang around, but I think a lot of you will probably leave real quick. Thanks for coming out, though. Any other council comments? Few updates. Oh, yeah, the Boy Scouts that led the pledge, Troop 88. You want to come up, introduce yourself, and let us know where your troop is, who the charter organization is?
Hi, my name is Michael Loza, and we are from the Lewis and Clark district.
My name is Jason Miller, and I'm here for the Communications Merit Badge. We're in the Lewis and Clark district.
Hi, my name is Jordan, and I'm here to finish a part of the Communications Badge.
My name is Jack Barnes, and I'm here to finish Communications Merit Badge.
Hello, my name is Joshua Guerrero. This is my last Eagle Merit Badge for Communications, and after this, I'm going to be working on my Eagle. Thank you.
What are you going to do for a project, you know?
No clue.
Where do you guys meet at?
We meet at First Presbyterian Church down in the Field Club.
Great.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out. A few updates from the last couple of weeks. Attended the annual Teammates Dinner along with some others. Had a large turnout there. Good organization. Also, with Mr. Gowner and a few others, attended the Civil War 150th exhibit at Cedardale Cemetery that the Sarpy County Historical Society put on. I don't think people realize there's 15 Civil War veterans buried in Cedardale, including a Medal of Honor winner out there. And so got their stories, and pretty amazing stories. Also attended today, along with Mr. Mumgard, the Sarpy County Chamber's Government Affairs Forum. Mr. Hoynes, Ms. Myers, and myself attended a stakeholders meeting on LR 555, which is a legislative hearing regarding SIDs. And Mrs. Clark, for the representing the library, and myself representing the city, are going to go testify on that in Lincoln. You're talking at the state level. You're representing the state, right? Yeah. And then also attended the Midlands Charitable Council meeting, and had a great event. The Personnel Committee had their 11th annual chili cook-off. Mr. James, you didn't come in first place, did you? Second? Didn't pay enough. I think the folks from the water department probably won. And then Mr. Hoynes and myself. Nancy won. Congratulations. And then Mr. Hoynes and myself this week did have a United Cities meeting. No real updates there, mainly just reviewing the legislative agenda and trying to understand, based on the elections, what the different committee makeups will be down at the legislature, and probably who will be the committee chairs, so that we can start understanding legislative agenda down there. And then I think the only other thing, and this was talked about at the Sarpy County Government Affairs meeting with Mr. Mumgard and I, and you might have seen it in the paper, the metro area school superintendents did get together and put together a package related to the learning community, and a way that they believe would help them by getting rid of the common levy. And it was a whole package, and I think that's going to be their legislative agenda, at least from Papillion's perspective, and probably Bellevue's from a city perspective. We think they're probably missing a very critical component, because they don't talk about the boundary at all, the boundary agreement and the shifting of the boundary. And that's the one that's affecting us from a development perspective, so we got to continue to work on that. I think that's most of the updates from the last couple of weeks. Any other council comments? Congratulations to the 4 council members that were reelected. And do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Glover. Second by Councilman Florence. Please vote.
7 yeas, no nays.
We are adjourned. Thank you.